Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with the 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. And so starting off, there's nothing marked today because I didn't take any trades today. Some days are just like this. Usually it's not going to be 0 trades in a day, but every now and then that is how it is. And it is good patience practice, especially if you're new, because it can be tempting to take trades even when they're not there. And so it's good practice to just sit on your hands all day sometimes. And sometimes the best trading is to just not trade at all. But anyway, so starting off, we have this measured move in play and also a third bounce off this trend line here. Notice we have these 3 bounces here. We're forming this uptrend and we have this measured move. Now, this swing right here is right at 8:30, so this is right where the market opened. And so that's why the overnight high is down here. It's at the last significant swing, which was from this push down here. And anyway, so we push on through here. Like I said, I started right here. We push up, we push through that measured move. It barely had any reaction, and then we just start to push back down. Now we break this uptrend here. It's not very significant. Sometimes you'll get a small break. You'll get a couple attempts at a new high, and then it'll push lower, and then you'll get it'll act as a bigger picture break before making a bigger picture attempt at a new high. But this is the first price action level. So right when it broke, it had those 2 attempts at a new high, and it failed and reversed. Now, sometimes it's not going to reverse. Sometimes it might hold on this overnight high, and then you'll get a bigger picture push to a new high. So price action gets bigger as more time goes on. Sometimes the small picture will be enough to do it. Sometimes it'll need to play out on a bigger picture. And so, anyway, after those 2 attempts at a new high, unfortunately, there's not a clear entry in here. Like at this point here, after that breakout, we have 1 major attempt to fade. Now, when you break out of an overnight level or a range high, you want to see 2 attempts to fade before you continue with that breakout, because most breakouts fail. You can expect price to attempt to fade back in. And so you want to see 2 attempts to fade before you buy the breakout. That way you can be sure that you're entering on a fade failure. And so let me just zoom in here. This push down is not nearly as big as this push down. So I'm not going to look at this right here as 2 attempts to fade. The way I'm viewing it as is we have this 1 attempt to fade and we're getting a correction. And then, this up here was the real start of that second attempt. What could have happened was first attempt, second attempt, and then it push up from here, and then you could get in you could actually buy the breakout because you'd have your 2 attempts to fade holding above the overnight high. And so, that's how you buy breakouts. You want to wait for those 2 attempts. But in this case here, it didn't hold. If it doesn't hold, then that just means it's fading and you want to stick with what it's doing. You would want to look for a failed second entry, a reversal pattern. We just pushed up here, broke out the overnight high. It's clearly fading back in. Best bet is to get a reversal pattern. So say we push down here. I would like to see 2 legs back retesting the overnight high. It doesn't always have to retest the overnight high. The point is you get a reversal pattern, a failed second entry, and very oftentimes that will be retesting the overnight high. But in this case here, it just doesn't even form. We just continue on down. It just keeps on dropping. We form this channel here, and now at this point, the overnight low was right here. It wasn't a major swing. I was just going to see how it reacts. I was seeing how it would react to this swing here, but it pushed on through that, and it held at the this level right here. This is the overnight low, and notice how well it held. So these levels are very important. Sometimes it might not seem like it's a very significant swing right here, but as you can see, it's holding very well, and this happens day after day. This is very consistent. And so anyway, we push on lower here. We barely get a break and a push to a new low. This is really just all part of that same trend here, kind of like how I was saying here. Now this is an even smaller picture example, but like I said here, when this uptrend got a break in those 2 attempts at a new high, if it didn't fade back in here, it could have made a bigger picture attempt at a new high. Same thing with this downtrend here. You have downtrend, very small picture break, and a push to a new low before reversing, and then what do you get right after? You get bigger picture attempts at a new low. So you get downtrend, this whole thing, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. And so we'll get into that in a sec. So anyway, we push off the overnight low, we get this push above the EMA, and so now we can expect a new low for this downtrend. If we had pushed, now one thing I just want to quickly say about this right here, and the reason I don't like going short here, is because, one, it's just a one-legged break from this downtrend, and we also just pushed off the overnight low. Now, like I said, the overnight levels are major key levels, and you can expect, price moves in pairs of twos. And so when you get one strong push off of a major key level, it's very likely that after a small correction, you'll get a second leg up. Now, in this case here, your short would have worked, but you don't know that. It could easily have just pushed down a little bit and then made a second leg up from there. And so, it's just not worth it. Now, we end up pushing down, we retest the overnight low again before pushing back up. And so now you can see we have two legs up from here. So downtrend has a break, first attempt lower, and then we can still expect a second attempt lower. Now, we push up here. You don't want to enter right into the EMA like that. Let me draw out this really quick just for a visual. Sometimes, and I'm going to remove these just so that way you can see how it's like a two-legged break here. Now, the measure move isn't met. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but you don't want to combine that with entering right into the EMA. It's not off of any clear resistance or anything, so there's really just no reason to enter on that. And then, of course, you get that doji closing above right after, and then this bar, has its wick all the way down to there. So unfortunately, we just don't get a clear short entry here, but you could look for one. You have two pushes off from the overnight low. You can still expect a new low for this downtrend. If we had gotten something below the EMA that has enough room to the overnight low here, you could have taken something. Of course, you don't want to push it through that, of course, but, you could have looked for it, but unfortunately, it just didn't set up today like that. And so anyway, we push on lower here. We make that new low. The downtrend has a break, two legs down to a new low, and so now we can expect price to attempt to reverse because the downtrend's played out and we're at the overnight low, which is a common reversal area. And we push up here and immediately start finding a whole lot of resistance at the EMA. That's not a good sign for a reversal pattern. It ends up just really staying choppy this whole way here. It's just right, chopping above and below the EMA. You've got this downtrend line right here, and then we just push on lower again. We start to fade back up. You close back above the EMA here. Of course, you don't want to enter right into this. Overall, it's just not ideal. I would want to see a full reversal pattern at this point. A nice failed second entry, a push up, a couple legs back, holding above the EMA, and look for another leg up. But it ends up holding on that trend line here. We push lower again. Again, it gets choppy below the EMA, below the overnight high. Below the overnight low. And unfortunately, there's just no clear longs here, and it pushes up. We get this very sharp leg up. Now, once again, this is a common reversal area, the overnight low. The downtrend did play out, so it's not surprising that we're having a strong reversal. But unfortunately, we couldn't get in on that. We just couldn't get in on it. And so we push up here. We have the sharp push up, and then we have the sharp push down. Now, the chances of getting a two-legged break from this push up are very high because, once again, it's a reversal area, and a two-legged break from that uptrend would form a reversal pattern. So, say you get this here, uptrend, break, and then say we got another leg down. We could have gotten a setup like that. That would have just been a very big picture failed second entry. Now, you still have, from here, first entry short, second entry short, failure, but unfortunately that entry is right into all this resistance, and you cannot expect it to just push on through like that. Today kind of, it was kind of, there just wasn't really anything to take. It can look tempting here because you can see how it's a failed second entry, but that resistance was just so clear right there. Especially when you can expect a reversal from the reversal area, the overnight low, the downtrend played out, but then it just had suddenly strong resistance right here, and then it found that same resistance there again. So it's just not ideal for a reversal. It's telling you that there's clearly some kind of bearish imbalance in the overall range of the day. And so you don't want to enter right into that again. You know what I mean? So, it does end up pushing on up. It met that measured move. Very shortly after reaching that measured move, it's starting to push on down pretty strong. And so what could happen is you form another reversal pattern back down. You could push lower here, get a couple legs retesting this previous resistance level, and that could offer a great short. So, nothing today, no trades, unfortunately. Some days are just like that. It's not a big deal. You really can't let yourself worry about it because, if you let yourself worry about it, you're going to end up forcing trades and then taking losses, and then you're going to be worse off. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helped out. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.